right off the bat though, I will say, I don't think if you're, coming to this video to be like, oh, like, should I be able to watch this video and then justify buying a 226 X5 Reserve? I think the answer is no. It's not worth it. Just because this is, I think the sticker price is like $2,700. I don't remember. And then you pay tax on it and then the FFL fees. You're gonna be close to $3,000. Over here, I've got my super old 226 Tacops, which this was $1,100. And I think now, well, they don't make these anymore, but now they have the 226 Legion series, which kind of, I think, replaced that. They've got them in double action, single action, or single action only. Those cost $1,100 or $1,200. I guess what I'm saying is the reason you would want to get this gun is if you are a SIG fanboy. And I am definitely a SIG fanboy. I've got, an MCX, an X5 Legion, P220, 226 Tacops. I have a 226 Classic. I've got a lot of SIGs and I carry a 229. That's my, EDCs. So I'm definitely a fan of SIG. And so when I saw this come out, I was like, yeah. I got one of my AR-15s had a DLC bolt carrier. It was one of the Watchtower AR-15s. I mean, it was before Watchtower became a thing. It was F1 Firearms, but I've got one of those DLC bolt carriers and that's like slick. So when I saw it's like a 226 with DLC everywhere, I was kind of sold on it. So I'm gonna flip this camera over here in a second and do a tabletop and kind of show the box that it comes in and all that good stuff. But before we do that, I want to look at, just kind of go, front to back on this thing. So at the tip of it, we've got our double port compensator, and then we have our front sight post, which that's tritium inside there. Then we've got our, regular Picatinny rail down here. Is it Picatinny? For the life of me, I don't know the difference between a Picatinny rail and a Glock rail, and I guess they're different somehow, but whatever. It's got a rail. You can mount whatever you want to it. I'll probably throw an X300 on here. Then on the left side, we've got our little gas pedal kind of takedown lever. That is SIG's 3-way adjustable trigger. So there's, the pre-travel, over-travel, and then the trigger pull itself can all be adjusted. Oh, wait, real quick, before I move on. So this barrel on here is crowned, which might pick up. There we go. Yeah, I've never shot a crowned barrel and been like, oh yeah, this definitely has a crowned barrel. So it looks super nice. The crowned barrel is supposed to help the bullet gases escape better and protects the rifling of the barrel. But then it's like, okay, well, there's technically just less rifling in it, right? Because the crown goes into the barrel. I don't know what. So it's like, I think that the reason this has a crowned barrel is because SIG's like, well, we're going to charge $3,000 for this, so we got to crown it. Looks nice. I will say also, just because I've got my other 226 Tacops over here, which is clamped. I'm going to break out the calipers here in a second, but the barrels on these, I think you might be able to tell here. This is like basically a bull barrel on the X5. I mean, you can see kind of the difference, and you can also see that I need to clean my other 226. But I don't really like cleaning my guns because I have kids and a job and whatever. A lot of other things going on. So as long as they go bang, I'm happy. Which kind of brings me to another point of liking this gun is the DLC polish is supposed to have a high lubricidity. Well, not supposed to. I mean, it literally does. I mean, it's very, very slick. When I first got it, I was like literally slipping off the slide because I wasn't grabbing it hard enough. Because on the 226 Tacops, like it's just your regular stainless, or what is it? I guess, I think this is Cerakote. It's just a lot easier to grip because the texture's not as slippery. The rail that the slide rides in is also DLC coated. So it's like DLC on DLC, so that makes it very lubriciditous. I don't know, whatever, I'm making up words now. But it's like lubricated without needing lubrication. It's kind of like the benefit of it. But I'm not saying that I'm gonna like run this dry. This is the definition of running your guns wet. Okay, so moving on. So we've got the your slide lock here. It like sticks out a lot. So like when I'm grabbing this, I'm a little concerned that it's gonna like get my support hand. I might try to flatten it out, or I might just try to change my grip a little bit. But yeah, so you can see how much that is sticking out. And it's on the 226 Tacops, the slide lock is You know, not, well, you can't see there, but it's pretty close to the gun frame. The safety on this is honestly the one thing that I'm not crazy about, because it is very stiff, and you know, I mean, just, you know, I think that I can tune this. I just need to go figure out how to do it. But it's when you actuate it down to turn the safety off, it's fine. But like flipping the safety up, ideally I want to be able to do this without breaking my grip. And right now it's just a kind of a weird angle, so it's really hard to actuate without, you know, breaking my grip and turning it on. So, and then the mag release is pretty, you know, you can see the mag release here is pretty protrusive, pretty well protruded. It sticks out a lot. And then the last thing on this is this, you know, LOK grip. Is it LOK or just lock? I don't know. It's called a grid lock. Well, it's like LOK grips, or lock grips, and then the grid lock version of their grips. And so this grid lock grip pattern is very nice. It's very aggressive. It's not, there's been some, I've had some gun grips, like I think the 229 Legion that I've got, their Hogue grips were like, holy crap, like this like almost like hurts to grab. This one is like, so if that 229 Hogue grip is like a, you know, 8 out of 10 of sharpness, this is like a 6. And then, you know, this 226 Tacops is pretty smooth. That's like a 3, you know, like, so you know, this definitely has some really good bite to it. It feels good. It's not gonna like bother you. I think that's like, this is almost like the perfect amount of grip. And then the last thing, so the dot. This is, yeah, the Romeo 3 Max. And so I really want to get at some point that the brand new Romeo 3 Pro, I think it's called. It's like, it's basically this sight, but in a Delta Point Pro footprint. And so that means it costs like, you know, $800 or something insane. I absolutely love this sight. This is for sure my favorite sight. I mean, the dot on there is like super crisp and the window's enormous. It's definitely, you know, got that blue tint to it, but it's kind of like, I don't know, whatever. It doesn't bother me. It just looks great, and the window's huge, and the dot, at least for my eyes, now it is weirdly focused, but for my eyes, I've got pretty bad astigmatism. It's surprisingly crisp. I think this is the 6 MOA version. They have like the 3 MOA version of this sight for I think like $400, and then the 6 MOA is like $600 or $700. I don't know why. I think that they're MSRP at the same price, but just no one buys the 3 MOA. Maybe if you want a competition sight that's not insanely expensive, then I would recommend getting that, you know, Romeo 3 Max 3 MOA. I just like the bigger MOAs because of my astigmatism. So this is the 226 X5 Reserve, the box that it comes in. It's pretty fancy. It's got these, you know, the whatever, typical briefcase. I feel like if you are, you know, under the age of 20 today, you've never seen a briefcase. I don't know. Moving on. So you open it up. Here's the 226. We'll look at that in a second. It comes with this. This is the optics plate that actually comes mounted on the gun. This is, you know, your rear sight, tritium dots on it. Actually, it's kind of interesting. They mount from, you have to take the slide off, and they mount from the bottom up. Then of course you have the SIG challenge coin thing. I don't know, you know, let me know what y'all think about these. I think they're kind of like, why? Anyways, I'm not gonna roast the challenge coin, that kind of roasts itself. And then 3 magazines. I think these are the standard X series, like they're the same magazines that come with the X5, the standard X5, the non, you know, high polished DLC version. So yeah, so then looking at the gun here, so let's go ahead and look at the takedown on it. The first step is removing the takedown lever. And so on a normal 226, you know, you just immediately kind of swing it down. On this one, you have this little, I don't know what it's called, a little nub thing that blocks the takedown lever / gas pedal. You have to have the slide forward, and then you push this up, and then you can push it down easily. And then you lock it back, and then you can swing down the takedown lever just like on a regular 226. And then that comes off, and that is like, wow, that's smooth. I mean, just, I don't know, that's pretty wild. Just, yeah, how smooth that is. And you can see, you know, the DLC goes all the way up onto the frame rails itself. And you know, my understanding on DLC is that it's pretty durable. So here's the slide, and you know, it's DLC'd everywhere, DLC'd on the inside of the frame as well on these frame rails. And then it takes down like a standard 226. And you just pull the guide rod out, and then the barrel comes out as well, and that also is fully DLC'd. So yeah, no, this is pretty slick. You know, there's the crowning and all that good stuff. And that's your basic field strip. And then, oh yeah, you have, it's kind of interesting, the recoil spring is like in two different pieces. So there's a recoil spring here, and then a little buffer piece, and then like a little mini spring. I don't know why, I'm not an engineer. Looks cool though. I'm sure it does a good job. And then the guide rod, obviously. I don't know, it's black. So this is the 226 broken down. So let's just compare that real quick, because there's something interesting that I wanted to look at, comparing that to the 226 Tacops here. You know, it's takedown lever right here, so you swing that down, and then slide that off, and then pull out the recoil spring, and then the barrel. Okay, so the big difference that, you know, thing I wanted to show is that this 226 barrel, this Tacops barrel, look how much narrower it is. So then I want to also show y'all this X5 Legion. You know, we can pull this down, that goes like there. Pull this off, pull this down. Okay, so now we have all three of these barrels here, because the X5 Legion barrel is like advertised as a, you know, bull barrel. This X5 Reserve barrel is kind of in between. So this bull barrel measures in at right at 16 millimeters, and then the 226 X5 Reserve barrel measures in at 15. This is a chintzy, you know, caliper from Amazon, so take it for what it's worth, but it's 15 millimeters. And then I would guess this one's gonna be 14 maybe. And this one's measuring at, you know, 13.5. So you are getting a somewhat bull-ish barrel, I guess. I don't know if that's a phrase, but yeah, so that's something interesting to see. You know, just the thickness of the barrel. I'm sure that's gonna help with competition shooting and all that. Obviously, I said earlier, you know, this gun is for SIG fanboys, and I 100% stand by that. Those are the main people that should buy it. If you just think it looks cool, then like buy it, but don't think that this is like worth it or anything. From a, you know, if this is one of your only pistols, like don't, like, you buy ammo is more important than that. But from a competition perspective, because it has a compensator, you know, it has to be forced into the open division, which has, you know, all of the absolutely insane race guns. And like, this is an insane gun, but it's also not a true competition focused pistol. Like it's kind of, it's taken some characteristics from competition, you know, the competition world, and then put it into a duty pistol. So it's kind of, I don't know. I mean, I think it'll be fun to, you know, as a good range toy and run around with and just test the reliability and just see, you know, what does the penultimate 226 look like on the range. Take a look at the 226 X5 Reserve trigger. So it's clear, and we will go ahead and see where it is. There's a good wall, and then very crisp break, and then the reset is pretty audible. Yeah, so there's a little bit of, yeah, squish before you get to a very crisp wall, and then if you just, I'm slowly applying more and more pressure very gradually. Still no movement on the wall, so that's nice. Yeah, and then it just breaks. So that's a pretty slick trigger. So let's go ahead and get the pull weight on here. So it pulls that right under 2 pounds, 1.158. Okay, so that one was 2.2. Let's see, 0.1. I'm gonna kind of mess it up a little bit. 0.1 again. 1.137. 1 pound, 14 ounces. So yeah, so this is averaging a little bit under a 2 pound trigger pull. But this is also adjustable. This is just how it's coming from the factories. You know, and so if I average it over the past, you know, 10 pulls that I just did, I'm averaging 1 pound, 13 ounces. So that's insanely light. I got a Gray Guns competition trigger in this X5 Legion. This one is, let's see what this one reads. That is 2 pounds, 3 ounces. And I thought that this trigger, you know, Yeah, this one, yeah, so 2.1 ounce. So this is just over a 2-pound trigger, and this is just under a 2-pound trigger. So that's like, yeah, I just remember I got this gun, and I remember thinking that its trigger was stupid light, and yeah, somehow this is even lighter, but you can adjust the trigger weight on it. If y'all have any other SIGs that you want me to review, post it in the comments below, give me a subscribe, and see what else comes out.